All things come from God, including Jacob Blake, including his children who saw their father shot in the back by the police this week. All things happen through God, including the rage of Black Americans up in Kenosha. All things are moving toward God, including our silence and our exhaustion, our action or inaction, our confusion about all of this. It's all moving toward God, which means all of it will be judged. We're going to be judged. Last week, Kelly, the kids, and I got back from our summer vacation, and while we were gone, not a lot happened in Chicago, really, aside from the ongoing pandemic and intensifying protests, a second round of looting. Anything else happen? Anything significant? Oh, there was a tornado that touched down in Rogers Park. The world is in turmoil, or at least our insane nation is. Our mad country, crazy enough to let a 17-year-old high school dropout arm himself with an automatic assault rifle, mad enough to inspire him to go running into a riot and kill two human beings in an effort to protect inanimate property, things. Mad enough to empower a police force that seemed to endorse his presence and excuse his killing. All things come from God, but only human beings are made in the image of God. All things are moving toward God, but only the Lord has the authority to decide when a life begins or when it ends. To murder is to usurp God's authority. To kill Black people is to usurp God's authority. To kill anyone is to usurp the authority of God. To kill somebody is to seize God's supremacy and to claim it for ourselves. Murder says, I know better than God. I have no need for God. I'll spit in his face, destroy the crown jewel of his creation, and claim heaven's throne for myself. Watch me sit on it while I fire this gun. All of this, and then on top of it, America's continued refusal to see Black people as fully human. You got to get away from it sometimes. You have to get away from all of this. You need to escape. We've all got our avenues. I like to watch basketball. I turned on the Clippers-Mavericks game on Tuesday, and afterward I watched Doc Rivers. He's always been a favorite of mine, a favorite coach. I watched his press conference, the Q&A. He didn't talk at all about his team's impressive victory, though. Instead, he wouldn't let me escape. He talked about Jacob Blake. Here's what he said. If you watch that video, you don't need to be Black to be outraged. And then his voice broke and he started crying, this macho jock. You just need to be American to be outraged. How dare our politicians talk about the fear of Black people? Black people are the ones who need to be afraid. Black people have been hung and shot. And then he continued. We keep loving this country, and this country doesn't love us back. He's right. We ought to be outraged, no matter the color of our skin, because anything short of outrage right now condones a wicked heresy. All things are moving toward God. We will be judged. We will be judged, but not for a long time. Not for a long time. Not until Jesus comes back, and I don't think that's happening anytime soon. A tornado in Rogers Park and better politics from an NBA coach than either of the political conventions that happened last week. They might seem like signs of the apocalypse, but they're not. Jesus is coming back, but in the meantime, which is a long time, we can't just crane our necks at heaven and wait for him to come down in glory and solve all our problems. Aside from that, it's not what's going to happen. When he comes back, we're going to be judged. We have to wait. We've got no choice. We're waiting to be judged. Won't necessarily be pleasant. If we live our lives in opposition to God, the prospect of her arrival ought to unnerve us, even if we're good people who oppose God unwittingly, unknowingly, even if we've got our head stuck in the sand, even if we're innocent, even if the racism and materialism of our culture have so overdetermined our lives that we don't notice and cannot notice the evil that infects us. Even if we think we're innocent, we'll be judged. My great-grandparents emigrated from Ireland and from Germany. I'm not guilty of enslaving anyone. I worked so hard for everything I have. Don't talk to me about white privilege. We'll be judged. We'll be judged. And unless you're a saint, and Protestants know that sainthood is impossible, you're going to be found wanting. You're going to be found wanting when you're judged. So will I. But in his judgment, Christ is going to dry every tear that has ever been shed. The tears of Jacob Blake's children and my tears of shame. We'll be judged, but nobody's going to hell. Judgment ultimately will be a healing process. Judgment will be the erosion and the erasure of those parts of us that are in opposition to God. The confrontation of our own sinfulness, the confrontation with it, the inability to deny it, hide from it, run from it, use it. That's going to be ugly. I believe it'll be ugly. But our ugliness will melt away in the presence of God. And after we're judged, and through that judgment, we will wind up in her embrace. In the end, everything will be all right. And if everything isn't all right, then it's not the end. And so we wait with trepidation, but also with hope. We wait with hope. Meanwhile, the world remains in turmoil. So what should the church do while we wait on God? And by that, I mean, what should you do? And what should I do? We're the church. What should we be doing right now? COVID won't let us be in the same room. We have to be careful with our bodies these days, but COVID cannot stop the body of Christ. All things come from God. All things happen through God. All things are moving toward God. So here is what I want you to do, God helping you. I love it. I love it. Paul is about to tell us exactly what to do. He's got the answer. First verse of chapter 12. Here is what I want you to do. Ready? Are you ready for our instruction? Well, just wait 1 minute. Before we dive into his answer, I have to say that his answer is underwhelming, even disappointing. Bit of a letdown. Paul is not about to issue a 7-step plan to save the world. So why listen to him? Why not listen to the wisdom all around us, the wisdom in our culture? Well, we listen because God is still speaking today through Scripture. God has a word for us in Paul's letter. Right now, while it feels as if the world is burning all around us, God is speaking to us through these verses. She's speaking through Romans as clearly and as miraculously as she spoke through Romans to that motley collection of first century Christians in Rome, the people who first heard this letter read while they sat there together and were overwhelmed and healed by it. It's a miracle that God speaks to us. But again, in this instance at least, it's an underwhelming miracle. What should we be doing? Here's what I want you to do, Paul says. God's answer, though, might not be the answer that we think we need. So we might be disappointed by it. But even though the answer might be modest, what have we got to lose? Even if it might be outrageous, what have we got to lose? Nothing else seems to work. Voting for Barack Obama didn't solve the problem of racism. Arming the police like little armies isn't stopping violence. Looting the Apple Store is not a solution. Nobody has the answer. And nobody ever has. America's most vocal Christian was blackmailed into endorsing the most vocally racist president we've had since Andrew Jackson. That's the news this week. How many gay teenagers died by suicide because of Jerry Falwell Jr.'s homophobia and fear of his own sexuality? because of his profitable bigotry. The man has blood on his hands. He will be judged. And you know what I did? While teenagers who are required to have computers for school and have no chance of affording them looted the Apple Store, you know what I did? While all that was happening here in Chicago, I bought a boat. Professional Christians don't have the answer either. So let's give Paul a chance. Why not? Nothing else is working. Something has to change. We need to change. I need to change. All things come from God. All things happen through God. All things are moving toward God. So here is what I want you to do. God helping you. We're about to receive it. Here comes the answer. Take your everyday life, your ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Fix your attention on God. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. The boat we bought didn't really work. Didn't work well. Craigslist ripoff. It wasn't expensive in the first place. I know people who have spent more money on a suit than we spent on that boat. If you blink, you missed it. I just practiced white privilege and cheap grace in the same 10 seconds. A sort of idiotic twofer. The opposite of a miracle. The fact is, buying that boat, I let the culture pull me down to its level of immaturity so completely that I really believed the key to a happy summer would be, the key to the happy summer of our discontent would be to buy a gas-guzzling fiberglass hole in the water. The worst part of owning a boat is the trailer, or using the trailer. Picture Nero. Is it Nero who fiddled? Picture somebody fiddling while Rome burns, combined with Captain Ahab in the midst of a panic attack. Afraid of the MAGA pickup guys waiting for their turn to get their gigantic boats in the water. Mad at himself for buying into the construct of gender so thoroughly that the inability to back up a car with a trailer on it makes him feel like he's dying. The inability to launch a power boat feels like death. Mad at his own dad for dying before he had the chance to teach him how to use power tools. Mad at his children for bearing witness to all of this. That was me. Did you hear me screaming over the tornado? It happened 3 times at the launch. 3 times at the launch. And then it happened again every time we pulled the boat out. What is my meltdown? My meltdowns have to do with our national meltdown, my materialism with our nation's materialism, my immaturity with our national immaturity. Maybe nothing, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. If I could go back in time, I'd like to try to use the small surplus in our savings account as, here's what I want you to do. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. As an offering to God. I'd like to try to use that small surplus in our savings account as an offering to God. I wish I had, because I don't think that God needs a cheap little speedboat. If I could go back in time, I'd like to try and use my behavior at the boat launch as, here's what I want you to do. Take your everyday, ordinary life and use it as an offering to God. My behavior as an offering to God. My behavior as an offering to God. And I know God doesn't need another temper tantrum from a 50-year-old man. Ashamed of what we failed to do. That's a line that always gets me from the Church of England's prayer of confession. Ashamed of what we've failed to do, appalled at what we've done. I'm bearing my soul a bit here this morning, but I do it in confidence that you have mistakes that you've made in your life every bit as grave as the ones that I've made. We all do. We can all look back and regret the things we've done and the things we haven't done, and it's too late. But our word from Paul isn't a word for the past, and it isn't meant to make us feel awful. Instead, it's a word for today. God is still speaking now to us. So what if every member of St. Paul's, every person who has stuck with this sermon so far, what if all of us, what if we resolve to take our everyday decisions and place them as a gift upon God's altar? I mean it. The next time you feel irritable, before you speak, consider that your words will be an offering to God, placed upon her altar. The next time you spend money, the next time you are tempted to lie, the next time you laugh at a joke, your laughter is an offering to God. Your vote, your email, your internal dialogue, all of it an offering to God. Your everyday life, washing the dishes as the water runs over your hands and you smell the soap, an offering to God. If we all do this, and we can, we all have the potential to do this. If we all do this, if each one of us decides to make our everyday, ordinary lives an offering to God, I guarantee that our church is going to emerge from COVID glowing, aglow, stronger than the day the virus first arrived. Exactly what our city needs. And you'll be changed too. If you wake up every day between now and the Sunday when we can all come back to church, determined to use that day, your ordinary life, as an offering to God, you are going to be changed from the inside out. That's what Paul said, and he's not lying to us. You'll be changed as a family, as a partner, or a parent, or an employer, as a child. Write the verse down. Let's do it. I mean it. I want to do it. Write the verse down. Write it and tape it to your refrigerator. Write it in your own hand and tape it to your refrigerator. All things come from God. All things happen through God. All things are moving toward God. So here is what I want you to do. Take your ordinary, everyday life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering. Romans chapter 12. Picture Jerry Falwell Jr. Picture Jerry Falwell Jr.'s gleaming dual-door 48-inch Pro Series Sub-Zero refrigerator. You know, he's got one. Picture that man's shaky hand writing down this verse and then taping it to his fridge. Imagine the people who decide whether to buy police tanks or functioning school computers deliberating with this verse as they make their decision. Imagine America placing itself before God as an offering. Paul didn't write a plan to save the world. He didn't write a plan to save the world because Paul knew that the world has already been saved. We'll be judged and we will be forgiven. We will be brought into the embrace of God. The world's already been saved, and we are the fortunate ones who get to live as if that claim were true. Even better, we get to be the evidence of its truth. So here's what I want you to do. Take your everyday, ordinary life you're sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life. And place it before God as an offering. Hallelujah. Amen.